Good morning, my friends. How are you? So, I thought it would be a good day to tell on myself and talk with you about it, see if there's some connection with how you see or feel or act, and see if maybe there's something we can do about it together. So, I am in preparation. Well, I want to talk a little bit about my education world. And this year is a year of the Code of Ethics, which means that there's a big push for the Code of Ethics. There's also a couple of new continuing education courses out there, and one of them being Protecting the Protected Classes. And in the last couple of years, there have been a couple of research investigations going on, one in New York and one in Boston, that talked about how we, as realtors, discriminate. And and it has to do with all of the protected classes. And you know what? I have to tell you, when it was the New York one, I had this feeling of superiority and this feeling of, oh, we don't do that here, or we're better than that. And and I kind of sat in that. And and I want you to remember that feeling because this is going to be a common theme through what I'm going to talk about. So, so then, so I was teaching on it. I'm like, oh, this happens in New York, kind of thing. And I would show the clips of the incredible discrimination on all of many of the protected classes. Asians was one of them, Hispanics and African American. So those were the three big ones that they identified, and it was up to 50% of the people got discriminated against. And then Suffolk Law, I think it was Suffolk, published at a discrimination in Massachusetts. And it had to do with, in this case, the target market was rentals. And some of the big ones were, again, race. People with ethnic names were not called back. So the big part about it was that we showed more, we got people, we rented more to whites. And the people who had an ethnic sounding name were not called back the same amount of time. They call it ghosting, which means you don't call them back. And so, as well as, again, so many other parts of it, how they were treated, how many apartments they were shown, with the exact same statistics, how the public assisted money was discriminated against, which is again as a law breaker, right? So all of a sudden I'm like, all right. So whereas in my brain, when I was teaching about New York, it was one thing. And now, with it being right here in our backyard, it was another. And so I had to sit in that saying, so we're not so awesome after all. And then last year, of course, we had the George Floyd and the ensuing Black Lives Matter initiative. And so so this part comes with this huge education. I'm going to call it like onslaught, right? We learned so much. And again, before this, I thought I was pretty up to date, on being open to everyone and not having the prejudice. And really, it was my daughters and my nieces who brought it home to me about how wrong I was. And we had training as realtors on implicit bias, and we had training on what it looks like. And I was like, oh my gosh, I thought I was doing a good job. And then, as it turns out, I was not. And my daughters would say, if I ever qualified something by describing somebody, say, as Black, they'd be like, why does the word Black have to be in there? And I'm like, I'm just showing you that I'm not prejudiced, and they're going, you're full of shit, mom. So anyway, so there's been this heightened awareness about truly aggressively wanting to be open and wanting to shed these again, these long held beliefs or just actions that I was not aware of. So it was a breaking down last year of all these things that I thought I was. And again, the pandemic threw in a whole nother one, which I talked about, which is fears. I have a lot of fear surrounding everything on this, and I've shared that with you before. So I am not the person I thought I was going into 2020. So how do you build up from there? And so today, what I am seeing and what I want to talk about is I am getting ready to teach at home with diversity. And I'm teaching it with Cameron Willis, who is another instructor, and she's going to be doing some more instructing with Agent Rising. She's a friend of mine, and she also happens to be African American. And so, I am so excited to be teaching it with her. I feel like we have definite different stories to bring to the table. And again, she's already smashed my beliefs about discrimination and where it shows up and how it shows up. And so, friends, it's not going to be just this little white woman, right, that has white privilege and is going to be both of us, and we're going to be openly sharing, and not in a way for you so much as a personal growth, although I think it will be, as a professional, and how we can be better at our profession. One of the things that I always want to do is be improving. And I want to help give you resources to improve with me. So, anyways, the class is the 25th and the 26th. And there's a link in the scrolly thing. And also, I'll put it in the comments when we close out for Facebook. It's already on YouTube. Of what the link is to join through my website, or you can go to rasm.realtor and join there. We are co-hosting it with rasm.realtor, and it's going to be online, but there will be live activities, and there will be a lot of action, as much action as we can get while being online, if you get what I mean. And I am really looking forward to it. I'm a little nervous because I want to do this topic right. And I want to be the best that I can be as far as an instructor and trainer about making our profession better, and making sure that if I'm making mistakes, that I can be called on it, and I can ask openly questions, and that I'm going into that place of fear, right? I did my fear setting activity, and I realized that failing forward on this is still way better than where I'm at now. And so I'm just going to open it up for you. I hope that it's something that you join us for. It's the 25th and 26th. I think it's 9 until 12:30 both days. And 9 to, yes. So it will be, we are not taking breaks. So we cut out the lunch. We made it so that we wouldn't have to go there and come back. And it should be intense. It should be wonderful. And we are going to do this together. And you come out with a certification. All right. So who's in? So as I say, that link right there is just the paywall right now. I will build that up and put it on the website as its own standalone shortly. And I am so grateful for you. And I am so grateful that we get to be on this journey together. And I love the saying, like, every day in every way we get better and better. And that can happen. And that is happening. And by the way, do you love my background? This is Heather's workshop. All right. I'll talk with you later. Bye-bye.